Hello, Mark. All right. Good to see you training. Okay. First of all, let's talk about well, it's a designated target, not dedicated target. The correct drill name is. Right now, I'm liking one thing here. I'm liking how precise the gun's stopping the spot you're looking at. So let's just generally take a look at how fast you move the gun. Like, it's very casually, and also when the gun's stopping, where you're looking at, complete stop. There's no over transition, or I don't see any realignment or repositioning of the gun. Meaning your index is correct, so sights are automatically aligned the whole time, and they are stopping on the right spot. This is good stuff. Yes. However, the acceleration is under exaggerated and deceleration is exaggerated. Let me explain what I'm saying. When it comes to coming off the original target, so basically when you start coming off the original target, the acceleration of the target, so how fast you pull the gun off the target, is quite slow. And also the deceleration happens way too soon. And maybe a little, like I said, exaggerated deceleration. Let's take a look at this. So this is two targets. And let's say this is line of stop and in the middle section and the line of coming off. So let's say transition is happening this way. So a good way to think of it is you accelerate off in the first third zone and you maintain that max speed, and then last third zone is where you start to decelerate, right? And this is where you want to experiment more. How fast can I accelerate off the target and how fast can I decelerate? So meaning, if you were decelerating in a too long distance, let's say deceleration was happening too soon, like after first third, if you immediately start decelerating, you're not maximizing the speed in the middle section. So you want to find out when is the last margin to start slowing down. Let's say this is the last, like you have to start slowing down at the last 20%, let's say. But maybe let's say that's like the maximum, the last moment. If you are like slowing down from 19%, then let's say your over transition happens, or you start tense things up to be able to stop quicker. Now, yes, tension is not good. Over transition is also not good. So you want to find out what's like the last margin. Of course, this can be changed, depends on the how wide the transition is. Of course, if it's a like 10-degree transition, which is like a maybe even closer than El Presidente, right? MXA drill, for example. The transition between the target is extremely short. In this kind of case, there's not much room to accelerate or decelerate. In the small transition, I am seeing you're actually quite pretty okay. The speed doesn't necessarily look slow either. But in a wider side transition, this example was maybe what, 45-degree, this one? Maybe a little longer. Maybe 45 to maybe 70, something like that. In this, and plus on the wider side transition, you really need to figure out how fast you can bring the gun off the target and how fast you can decelerate and still stop it precisely without adding any tension to your shoulders or any other body parts, right? So this is some good experimentation you need to go through. Of course, there's a video on that. So I made a video on maximizing the gun speed while maintaining precision. So that is exactly something that you should try. When you first try, do more of a rudimentary setup, maybe like the exact setup in the video. Maybe that's something you can try. And then start doing that concept of finding the maximum gun speed with precision in a designated target drill as well. In a designated target drill, since like you can like move targets around and move like designate different targets, you're gonna be able to challenge all sorts of target transition, wide degree, like especially when you are designating the rightmost target. Like if you could put one target by the door here, then it's on your 180 line. And if there's another target close to another 180 side and designate this rightmost target, then you're going to be end up going all the way to 180 degree transition. So this is a good way to, first of all, yes, experiment and redefine the acceleration and deceleration of target transition. And then now, once you find that, have a good idea of how you can do that without tensing things up or over transition, then you start hammering it down in designated target drill again. So that's going to be a very good, important training for you. Like whether you're shooting CO or iron sight, just body mechanically being able to stay relaxed on the shoulder, of course, and being able to maximize the acceleration and deceleration. All right, I'm going to pass here for a second. In terms of reload, right now, it is pretty clear that the angles are what's making you not able to reload. So like, if you look at closely, first of all, your arm and the finger, index finger, is pretty aligned in one straight line, which is good, And if you look at the Magwell angle, and then the arm and the finger angle, yes, clearly it's not matching. So one good way to think of it is if there was no slide on your gun, I mean, you could potentially take the slide off and just the frame, and if you can see through the Magwell, then you should be able to see the first mag pouch source. So the magazine comes straight up, and the Magwell is actually facing in straight line. So magazine coming up, Magwell coming down has to be in alignment. So that was consistent issue. Every single time I was seeing the magazine coming in, as you can see, magazine. This one, it's a little bit more crooked this time, but this was more aligned that way, and the Magwell was more aligned that way. In this kind of case, what you are trying to do is to hit the bottom of or the inner side of the Magwell with the bullet and kind of bounce into the Magwell. This is a very dangerous case. So you want to have the Magwell angle straight and magazine angle go straight in. That's just going to be simply using the alignment of angles. And then once you do that, once you change the angle, you're going to have to remember the positioning of your arm angle or where in your chest area, the elbow position, and all that stuff. So like, depends on the elbow position. I sometimes tell people, hey, you need to feel the armpit angle. This arm depends on the elbow, how close your body, how far away from your body. There's specific elbow tension, right? Or sorry, the armpit angle, armpit tension. Basically, it's the same thing. You want to be able to remember the new position. When new position happens, you want to remember the armpit angle, the elbow positioning, and the finger positioning, wrist angle, all that stuff. So you want to be able to properly walk through as well. So remembering those angle stuff, body position stuff, helps you to program properly in the walkthrough process. So now here's a question. If you have the knowledge of proper angles, gun angle, Magwell angle, magazine angle, and you know what the body parts has to be, so elbow positioning, armpit angle, and wrist angle, things like that. If you can properly program it in the walkthrough process, you will not have mistake of fumble reloads. But of course, there's other cases now in the walkthrough. What's other cases? Exactly like over here. Do you see how elbow position might have been correct? I mean, things might have been correct. But what are you doing on the gun is you can see the guns keep moving. You're trying to nail the reload, insert the thing with two moving objects. One moving object insertion is a lot easier than two moving object insertion. Does that make sense? So keep that gun, so once the magazine falls out, keep that gun stationary, and only thing that's moving is the magazine trying to insert through the magwell without the gun moving around. So this is something that you need to also fix. You cannot have the gun moving and magazine moving together and trying to have two moving object insert, which is a lot more difficult than have one object stationary and the other object going into the hole. If that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna be definitely putting some links down in the below. And one thing you mentioned in the writings is that you want to keep working on picking a specific spot and things like that. So I recently made a new video, drill video. I haven't posted yet, but this is something you might want to try in live fire. So basically, it's called step back drill. You're gonna step back each double pairs you're gonna be shooting. But as you are getting further away from the target, oftentimes people may get soaked up into the dot or the front sight, no longer 100% target focus. So it's going to be very important to be able to program your vision to look at the specific spot during reload as well. Because a lot of the times during reload, red dot shooters will try to look at the red dot instead of target for the second shot. So try to track better, which shouldn't happen. Iron sight shooters, the same case. Now people try to see a front sight sharper, which shouldn't be happening. So that drill, as you are getting further away from the target, you should still see same blurry front sight lifting up and down during recoil, even the distance of the target is further away. But you just keep looking at the 100% target focus from 5-yard line to all the way up back to 15-yard line. That's going to be a good vision training in terms of recoil stuff. All right, I'll talk to you next time.